Hello all, this is Eric. I hope you can spend a few minutes with me sharing one of my favorite hobbies. That is the collecting of Hot Wheels cars. And I kind of wanted to go through some of these here. These are 67 Camaros, or custom Camaros, which I ended up finally focusing on after quite a few years of collecting. But it all started about 1995. My younger brother, had a collection of about 100 pristine Redline cars, they call them. And he never played with them, and he kept them all in great shape. He paid close attention to them and kept them packed up really nice. And I had noticed them again. I know we played with them a little bit when we were kids, but then I noticed them at his house years later, and I said, "Hey, Mark, I'd like to take some photographs of your collection if you don't mind." So yeah, he said he came up to the house and he brought his boxes of cars and carefully unwrapped them, and we displayed them on a table, and I was able to photograph those cars. It's about a 100-piece collection from 1968 to 72, and they are beautiful, and let me just tell you that. The Redline cars started being produced around 67, and they went all the way through to 1977. What I mean by Redline is these cars have red lines on the tires. And another feature is they have the suspension that they put in them. And it caused them to work on the track really well and be a little bit more durable. And they had an open hood as well. Really nice feature. And when they were brand new, they were like little jewels. And the kids just took after them like crazy. And Mattel was overwhelmed with the production needs to fill the orders around the world. But they sold amazingly well, and they came in a myriad of colors. The first year, there were 16 cars in the very first year, and the Camaro, 67 Camaro, or what's called the custom Camaro, they call it the custom Camaro, came in 15 or 20 different colors. And the beauty of them is what they called spectre flame paint. And it was like a neon color glow to them, and it just really attracted collectors, the little kids. And anyway, so we went ahead and took the photographs, and I started getting inspired again. It was about 1995, and so I started looking at Redline cars and kind of looking at Marks that were really pretty, and I thought, And then also I noticed the value of these things started climbing, and I couldn't believe some of the prices. And back then, $100 then was a lot of money for a car. In fact, I started buying these cars in about 95, 96, and in the 2000s, and I was paying, anywhere from $25 to $50 a piece, and I thought that was a lot of money. Anyway, so I went on, and so I wanted to just share this with you. The 67 Camaro, I focused on this because I had been collecting for about, 15, 20 years, and I got burnt out. I was buying all kinds of things, different cars, different models, different colors, different variations, and it got crazy. I couldn't keep up with it, so I just stopped for a while. And finally, I realized after a few years of not collecting, I need to really just focus on one or two things in the hobby, because there's just too much to choose from. So I decided the 67 Camaro. And a big reason why was when I was in the Navy in the early 70s, my buddy and I used to pal around in his 67 Camaro, and it looked almost exactly like this one. And it was blue with a black top. We had painted his car with lacquer paint and sanded it and polished it, and we cruised around all the time in that car, had a lot of fun, and that brought a lot of great memories. So that has been with me for years, and I just love the sculptured shape of this car, real or model-wise. It's just a great shape in its shape. So, I like Mustangs and other cars too, but the Camaro just has a certain affinity. So anyway, I started looking at these, and I bought 3 of them. I hadn't bought hardly any other cars back then online. But I did buy this Camaro, the 67 blue one. I bought a red one as well, and I bought this antifreeze one. And so that was around 2004. And anyway, I wanted to show you some features. Also, the base on the bottom says on it, Custom Camaro. And that's what they called it in 1968. And then going through the years of the development of the Camaro, 1983 was another pivotal year of the model. And a gentleman by the name of Larry Wood was a design engineer at Mattel, and he redesigned the Camaro and recasted it, calling it 67 Camaro. And this is the car. This is an original 1983 67 Camaro. Has an open hood, but it doesn't have suspension. But this is the very first newly casted car, and this one's in pretty good shape. Has an open hood, and it has what's called black wall wheels with 5-spoke hubs. So this is a pretty iconic car as well, after the Redline. And then in 2018, moving forward, they made a replica of it, of that 1983, which is this one here. But the difference is, and it's a little disappointing to us collectors, it doesn't have an open hood. It's a solid hood, and the base is it's plastic. It's a plastic chrome base. It's not metal anymore. So that's a little disappointing, but you know, it's a nice car. That was the 50th anniversary, 2018. So, and then going on from the 83 and through the years, they made a lot of premium cars. And I'm going to show you a few here. This is a Smokey Yanick racing car. It's a real car, actually, that was raced, that Smokey designed. And it has an open hood as well. No suspension, but it has these real rider tires. They're real rubber tires. Really nice quality, and it has a painted black base on it. So that's a really nice car that all the collectors like. Another one is this this premium car with Redline real rider tires. It's another feature they came out with. Open hood as well. Really clean, nice model. Another one one of my favorites here is the McDonald's charity car. It has real rider rubber tires on it with the chrome mags on it, and it's also open hood. And the finish on this thing is amazing. It's beautiful. It's got a great gloss finish on it, and it's a charity car for the Ronald McDonald House. So I have a couple of these. This is a really great piece to have. Another type of thing they had, I remember we used to go to Target and Kmart, and I don't know if you remember, they had these toys in the toy section and these funny blue boxes. There were just a whole row of basic bland blue boxes with toys in them. And one of them was Hot Wheels, and they came out with a few of them. There's not too many, but this is one of them that came out of one of those, what they called Cool Toys boxes of Hot Wheels. And some of them had a little hauler with them or whatever thing in there with it. And this is a pretty nice piece. I couldn't believe it. I think I paid $4.99 for this thing. You would not believe what this thing is worth now. And the reason is because it's very rare. They didn't put out that many. Since '68, on the earlier ones, they used to put out millions and millions and millions of them. I know for a fact that these here was nowhere near that, maybe a few 100,000. So that gives a big rarity feature about it. So those are some of the cars that went through the years. And then the 50th anniversary was 2018. There was quite a few cars that came out, not just the Camaro, but all kinds of models. And this is one of them right here, the gold 50th anniversary car. Pretty nice, pretty impressive as a collectible. Again, plastic base, non-opening hood. Little disappointing, but that's for the adult. The adult collectors we're pretty strict on our likings and stuff, but it's a very nice piece to have. And then also they came out with what they call a Redline 5-spoke 50th anniversary Aqua unit. Now this one is a reproduction, and it is the let's see, has a 1983 casting on the bottom, same as this one here that I showed you earlier. It's just a little bit different, a little nicer, has an open hood. So that's a nice piece to have. It's in what they call the kind of like the vintage series. And over here is the blister for it. It came in a kind of a reproduction blister to kind of commemorate the old days. So those are a couple of 50th anniversary. And here's another one. This is a pretty important, becoming more and more important as a collector item. 2018. This is a reproduction of the very first prototype Camaro ever made in the engineering department at Mattel. The very first one was a white, all white Redline car like this, and there were very few of them made. They were prototype test pieces. We don't know how many were actually put out on the shelves. People say anywhere from 25 to 50 to 75 pieces. There are some that have surfaced, original ones in the blister, and there's a few loose ones out there that are all beat up and in different stages of wear. But that car, the original prototype, is the holy grail of all of Mattel Hot Wheel collectibles. A beat up used one can run anywhere from $5,000, and one in a blister, not this one, but like this, it could command up to $100,000 for a prototype. And there are a few of them out there. Now this one is really nice. It's got a really nice finish, has a 50th anniversary logo on the side, and it also has a suspension, whereas all these other ones don't. And it has a chrome steel base. And it says, this is a 67 Camaro base. It doesn't say custom Camaro like the original. So it's a later version of the base. But it has an open hood as well. Nice plated engine. High quality. Very high quality. And nice piece to have. That's the 50th anniversary commemorative. And then they also made things that were called treasure hunts. Low run, premium quality cars. And they randomly put them in packages. And they were randomly put out on the store. So those became very, very popular, and collectors and people just scrambled to try to find them. And the very first one, of which I don't have yet, I have one on the way. It's a 1995 67 Camaro treasure hunt. It has the same base and as this one here, the original 83, but it's a white with orange stripes and an orange interior. And it also has these, you can visualize these Real Rider Goodyear tires on it. It's probably the most popular of all collectors, and is still attainable as far as affordability. They run anywhere from $400 to $1,800 in the blister pack. Now, and the reason is because that's the very first treasure hunt Mattel did, and there was a very low run, very, very low run quantity of those cars out there. So a lot of these treasure hunts that you will see, the 95s, they've been passed along to quite a few different people along the line, because there aren't that many out there. Anyway, and then they've done other treasure hunts through the years, and here's one here. This is a 2017 I just got. And it's kind of patterned, if you notice, after this one, which was I thought was a nice selection, a nice choice to make. And so that's about 49 years, or I'm sorry, from 83 to 2018, whatever that is, difference. But it's a very nice quality car. And it's got these reverse chrome rims on it, which I really, really like. There's very few cars in the Hot Wheel line that has those reverse chrome rims. And there's the base. Now, little disappointing again, doesn't have an open hood. Doesn't have an open hood. It's a solid hood. But it's a treasure, is what they call a super treasure hunt. And you know, collectors just have to have them. So that's another treasure hunt. So that kind of gives you a basic overview of the life of the Camaro, the custom Camaro to the 67 Camaro. And there are different versions that are very rare. There's a lot of common versions. And some of them are odd, kind of odd, and they're very low run pieces. And I actually happen to have realized I have found one in my collection. And I'm kind of saving that for last. I showed it to you earlier. And it's what they call the kidney bean hybrid 67 or custom Camaro, a 1968 Camaro. And here it is. It's hiding in the back here. This is an antifreeze custom Camaro, 1968, that I purchased on eBay years ago, probably 2004, 2005. There's the rear of it. There's the other side. Has a nice open hood. And this car, I have recently learned, is what they call a grail car. It's very, very rare, very low run. And there's some certain features about it and characteristics and history behind it. The demand was so high in 68, 69, that the factories couldn't keep up with the production needs. So they had to borrow parts from different factories around the world to put these cars together and get them out. And they would mix and match parts and such just to get these things put together and packaged and gone. Now this is one of those cars, and it has some special features. It has these what they call deep dish or bubblegum wheels on the back. They're a little bit wider than normal. It also has a painted rear panel as well, the same color as the car. Another feature on the inside, I can't really see it here, but it has a green interior. A standard type Camaro, like these over here, these US made Camaros have either black or tannish basic interior color, but this is an oddball green. And what's even more strange about it is the steering wheel is black. So that suggests that it wasn't molded into the piece of the interior. It is a separate item. So that's a really interesting feature. And the greatest feature of this car that makes it so special is the base. And it's a custom Camaro base. But what's interesting about it, and I'll show you the difference. Let me show you right now. Can you see the difference? Notice the holes in the bottom of the car on the antifreeze car. And notice the holes, the only hole on the blue car. On this car, it has 4 holes. They're shaped like kidney beans, just in front of the rear wheels and just behind the engine on the front. And those were used for the assemblers at the factories to place the spring loading for the suspension in the car. Whatever system they had set up, this is how they made these bases to get them through production. So that's what's called a kidney bean car, and it's also referred to as a hybrid car, meaning it has parts from different areas. Now, and that apparently makes them worth more money because there's not very many of them. They just use it as a fill-in. Now, some of you know, I restore vintage motocross bikes, dirt bikes. There's one right back here, which is my brother's. And when we try to rebuild a motorcycle and get it back to its original vintage shape, we want original parts. We want things to be OG parts, you know, not reproduction parts. And we want them not to be from, you know, other makers that are not genuine. So we try to find genuine, like this one, Yamaha parts for it. And we reproduce those bikes and guys really want original bikes, so they're pretty strict on it, and that makes them more valuable. Well, in Hot Wheels, it's just the opposite, and I couldn't believe when the guy explained it to me. When you have vehicles like these made from different factories, there's not as many, which makes them much more rare. Now, with the millions and millions they used to make of these compared to this could be anywhere from 100 to maybe 200,000-300,000. Who knows? We don't really know the number. But in comparison to these, it's astronomically different. So this really propels it up as a high quality, or not quality, but a highly desired collectible in the Hot Wheels world. So that's the kidney bean car, which I had, and I had no idea when I bought it in 2004. So I struck a nice little deal there. And compared to these, I won't give you the price of them. I know what they are, but let me just tell you, this one on here on the right is 10 times the value of this one, to give you a comparison. So that tells you the difference between some of these cars. And another reason why I collected the Camaro is because there's so many variations within them. Anyway, that's my basically review of these cars, the Camaro, and I hope your collecting continues to go well. And if you want to get involved with collecting Hot Wheels, I recommend it. It's a great hobby. But I would also recommend you try to focus on what you really like and not just buy everything. So thanks for your time, and I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, shoot me a PM or email. I'm Eric E.J. Johnson on Facebook, and be glad to talk with you. So anyway, thanks a lot, and God bless.